You're now listening to the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast. And now your hosts, Christian and Chris, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports.
What is going on, everybody? Yes, once again, this is the Cerberus Gridiron Podcast, and this is episode 13. I'm your host, Christian, and here's your co-host, Mr. Chris over here. We got to end.
My bad. What up, my good people? Shalom, my Kim to my good people, and shalom, my Kim to those bad people too, so you can be good.
Yeah, man, shalom to everybody. Man, we got a great episode 13 for y'all. We know that it is finally football. Football is here.
We are here one day.
We can finally smell it. We can smell it up in there. We can smell that nice aroma. Man, we got a treat for y'all today. We're gonna break down some of our lineups so we can tell y'all like our thought process of like how we built our teams. But then on top of that, we're gonna break down like in the news. And then we got a nice segment at the very end talking about last place punishments. We want to get interactive with everybody out there in the audience. We want to know what are some of the craziest punishments that you've heard of or that you've seen or that you've been a part of. But that's going to be the last segment. But let's go and kick this thing off with in the news.
In the news.
In the news, we are talking about Mr. Bosa. Bosa getting that money. I'm talking about breaking the bank. And what are your thoughts about Mr. Bosa getting that money, dog? Like he said, pay me, and he got paid.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Go ahead. You asked me, but then you don't talk. Go ahead.
Nah, go ahead, dog. I'll be cutting off.
You asking me?
I'll be cutting off people, man. Just go ahead, do what you got to do.
It's all good. Play his fuck up. I was looking for the contract. 5-year extension, 170 million. Is that right?
Yeah.
122.5 guaranteed. Son of a biscuit eating bulldog. He deserved it, right? I can't remember what TJ Watt got, but I don't think it was that high.
He got 28. So TJ Watt got 28 million. The next D tackle was Aaron Donald at 31.66, and Nick Bosa hit the market for a 34 million annually salary. Is now a hit.
Okay,
so 34 million.
So $3 million more than AD. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it goes. They're just like quarterbacks, right? They get it, the next person to get paid the most. So who's next? You said today Brian Burns will be next.
So I think like what people do not realize, that y'all do probably know now that, and I keep saying it probably every podcast, but I am a Carolina Panther fan, and yes, that is the next person that he actually has been holding out for like the last week. He hasn't been at practice, so this is what he was waiting for the bank. Personally, I don't think he's gonna get Nick Bosa money. But I think it's going. He's not going to break the bank like Nick Bosa because he hasn't been dominant like Nick Bosa. But what I do think is that he will end up getting paid, which I'm estimating probably around $29 million a year.
I guess that sounds about right?
So that's what I'm estimating. Because also what people got to realize too is that the Carolina Panthers did turn down two future first round draft picks. 2 first-round draft picks from the Los Angeles Rams for Brian Burns, and that is the next person that I think that is going to end up getting paid. But what are your thoughts on that?
They turned it down. That means they want him, so they're gonna pay him. It depends on if Brian Burns or is he gonna try to break the bank and try to beat out Nick Bosa. You said that's what he was waiting on.
That's
He's waiting on to try to be out Nick, or just trying to be like around Nick.
me personally. I don't think he's trying to beat him because he hasn't been doing the numbers that actually Nick Bosa has been doing.
Okay,
But since
so
he hasn't been doing,
okay.
he can't go up to the 34 million because he's not worth 34 million. Pretty much, he's saying that that's like a QB contract, which he's not worth that right now. But then also with the Carolina Panthers, they have to realize that they also have Derek Brown that's coming up too as well, who they're also gonna have to pay, which is their D tackle. So that's why I said roughly, I think he's probably going to get around the range 26 to like 28, $29 million range per season.
Yeah, I think that,
and I think that's fair. I think that's fair because what people don't realize is that every year, well, we all realize this, every year the salary cap is always increasing. So with the salary cap always increasing, we already know what's going to happen with the money. Everything's going to go up. QB's numbers are going to go up. The top guys out there numbers will go up. If you're a baller, you're going to get paid. If you're not a baller, just going to sit up on that sideline and everything and just pray that you end up getting paid.
And they're not paying a quarterback, so hey, let's get it.
And that's exactly.
They got the money.
All right, so right now the next segment is actually called the lineups, and what we're going to be doing in this is we're actually going to be breaking down our lineups for two of our teams that we're actually involved in, and when we break them down, we're going to give you our thoughts and our analysis of the reason why we built this team and what we can see our team doing up in the future. So, Chris, let's tell the people about your lineup right here.
Okay, so this is my lineup. This is for a league that me and my co-host are in together. Obviously, you see, I got Joe Burrow. He's on his 5th-year contract, $10 million. I got David Montgomery. I tried to get a better and more. We just had our auction draft a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Trying to get a better running back, but I didn't have enough money to get one of the top ones. You know, I think we had Tony Pollard go for $70 million. So I think I had like 60 million, 55 million, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously I had the number 1 overall pick at Bijan. I think I have a top team. I will make the playoffs. No question in my mind. I am afraid with Travis Kelce for the first few weeks, but I think I have my team is strong enough to definitely make the playoffs in this league. I'm not worried at all. My biggest trade this past offseason was I had George Pickens, and I traded him for DJ Moore. And I'm just hearing more and more about George Pickens, making me question, like, oh, did I make the right decision? But I just think that DJ Moore, he's the number 1 on his team. And I think I have faith in Justin Fields that they will take that next step. I'm hoping he's become the Stefon Diggs, the Josh Allen, and the A.J. Brown to Jalen Hurts. They both take that next step. So, yeah, this is my team. I think it's pretty good, personally. I like it. I like Joe Burrow. Has missed training camp again. He has not had a training camp yet in his career.
What about your bench team? Like tell us about some of your bench players that you have there, and like the reason why you ended up picking them up in like your rookie draft and everything, so people actually understand like the reason why you should take some of these rookies or try to trade for some of these rookies if you don't have them on your team.
So I had the 1st and the 3rd pick in the rookie draft. Obviously I went with Bijan Robinson, the consensus number 1 overall pick. Don't think about it, don't overquestion it. I got Bijan. Number 2, Gibbs went number 2. So obviously the next person was Jackson Smith and Jigba. I think I got the best running back and the best wide receiver in the draft, personally. That's what I think. So I think that helps me out. And then in the 2nd round, I got where's my tight end? I got, if you go down a little bit further, I got Dalton Kincaid late in the 1st round. I'm hoping that he become the 2nd option for Josh Allen outside of Stefon Diggs. And obviously Travis Kelce is getting old, so I need somebody to replace Travis Kelce. He probably has about another maybe 2 years at being a top flight tight end. So I had to get him. Then the 2nd round, okay, so I'm looking like, okay, I got David Montgomery. I think I'm paying him $44 million. He's on his last year contract. I'm probably not going to extend him. So I sent him to the auction. So obviously I need somebody who could potential be the starters next year. Tyjae Spears. I know he doesn't have an ACL, but I figure that he has at least 3 good years in the league. And I also think that he could be a running back 1 next year if they get off of Derrick Henry, which I think his contract is up after this year. So I think he would be the man in Tennessee. I also think he'll get some tick this year, even with Derrick Henry there. And then I got Roschon Johnson just to add some depth to that. I know he's in Chicago. It's like they have 3 backs there. I think Dante Foreman's only there for 1 or 2 years, and they have Khalil Herbert. But I think he can be a sleeper, and he could probably pop for me in the next year. So
yeah, we're gonna try to get him off this team. People out there up in the chat, I'm gonna try to send some deals.
Oh, shit.
I'm gonna try to send some deals for some Roschon. But also, like the one thing when I'm analyzing your team, like it is a good team from. It's a lot better than what it was last year. I don't think that the DJ Moore trade that you actually did is actually going to hinder you because of yes, we know that George Pickens is on a cheaper deal, yes, but in our league, we have been talking a lot of junk to Chris because he won the league 2 years ago, and it seems that if he does not win a league, he stays up in like the losers bracket, and we have like a losers bracket. Everybody, where
I was gonna say, explain to the people
where like what you do is, if you never thought about this, we do a losers bracket just to keep everybody from the 7th to actually 12th place engaged, and how we rank everybody is so the 7th and then 8th place they will get a bye, just like how if they was actually playing in the actual championship bracket. We break it down that way, and then we do picks 9 plays pick 12, and then pick 10 or position 10 plays position 11 or like ranked 11, something like that. I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm being tongue tied right now. But that's how we do our last plays, just to keep people engaged. And what we do is it gives people a chance to actually battle for the number 1 overall pick. And based off how you have that, it ends up seeding. So whoever wins the whole losers bracket, they get the number 1 overall pick. Then if whoever finishes second, then they go second place, and then so forth.
Right. So yeah, exactly. So to sum up what Christian said, I still had to play weeks 15, 16, and 17. Mm-hmm. So for me to get Bijan, I still had to win my games to get Bijan, and I did that. My team was a borderline playoff team or a borderline, I think, top loser bracket team. Actually, I think I had to play all 3 games. But yeah, so I still had to play to get Bijan, and I had my quarterback last year was Kirk Cousins. He finished top 10. I think he was number 7. Dave Montgomery. I had Joe Mixon, who got hurt. He only had 1 good game. So I still had Stephon Diggs, Jamar Chase, and Kels, and David Montgomery from last year. Everybody else outside the kicker from my starting lineup is new. So I was able to get Joe Burrow this year. So
okay, and then
I was in a losers bracket, but I wasn't mad about that because I got Bijan. I'm not mad about that.
Okay. So, what's your bold prediction about your team this year? We know you said that they're going to be in the playoffs. Are you saying that they're going to be able to win the ship again?
Oh, I mean, every time we're in the playoffs, we win in the ship. I mean, if I need to predict it, I predict it. Yes, I don't want to seem too cocky, so I was like, let's just make the playoffs, and I'll be happy with it. I want to be happy with the ship, but let's just say right now, let's make the playoff. Usually I talk all my shit in the off season.
Mm-hmm.
When the season starts, I'm very humble. So we just take it one game at a time. But yes, I do think I have the team to win the championship. There are 2 more teams. Actually, my co-host's team is pretty good. He does have Cooper Kupp in his starting lineup, but giving how his team is constructed. Are you going to show it? Did you make a slide for that?
Yeah, I got to slide for that team.
Oh, for your team?
Yeah, that's what I said.
So you want to bring up your team?
Yeah, I'm about to.
Great. You want to bring if it's the next slide.
Okay.
I can just. I do think Christian probably has the best team, the best starting team in our league. Just because if you look at everyone his key positions, the starters, they're all outside of Ramondre. See, Jonathan Taylor, that could have hurt him. If Jonathan Taylor was there, projecting what Jonathan Taylor would do. At those top 7 positions, they're all anywhere from top 5 to top 10 players. So that's 7 for him. Ramondre's probably falling off, obviously, right? And I think I had 5 on my team. So I do think I will probably see Christian again in the championship game. We played Christian. So one thing to know, Christian has made a championship game every single year in this league. He made a deal with you know who. We won't say that, but he made a deal with you know who. I'm not sure how he's still in this championship game every year, but I can see me playing Christian again in the championship, especially if Cooper Kupp comes back and Jonathan Taylor goes to a new team. I think he's my biggest competition in this league. People stop trading him in our league. Stop trading with him. I built my team. Christian, out of them starters on his team, Christian traded. Only person he drafted was CeeDee Lamb in his starting lineup.
Yeah, that's true. Everybody else I traded for.
That is it. Everybody else he traded for.
Well, no. I had Ramondre up on my bench, so I had Ramondre. But yeah, I'll talk about my team real quick, and then you
my
can.
bad. I get the good
so
one.
So at my starting QB position, I have Mr. Patrick Mahomes. I actually made a deal just to get him this off season. Because like what I said, like what my co-host said, that I have been up in the championship every year. And since
he's a defending champion,
and I am the defending champion, but I'm also trying to go back to back because nobody has never went back to back in our league, which is actually quite difficult. So I'm trying to go back to back. So I realized that I'm just going to throw everything in. I also probably had around 4 or 5 first-round draft picks. So I start throwing those out there just so I can get certain players just to build a better team. Because what they always say, if you win a championship last year, you're not going to be able to win with that exact same team that you have. So you always want to zig when other people zag. So that's one thing that I will say out there with everybody whenever you are a champion and that your team is a juggernaut, try to get some other individual players or even think about the future as well, because that's what some people don't really do. That is one big thing that I do, and that's what I've been doing, and that's probably the reason why I have been in the championship every year. Because of that, is because I always change up my team every year. There is nobody on this team that is not tradable. I will trade anybody on this team as long as the value is right. But I will go through my team. My team is Mr. Patrick Mahomes. At running back, I have Christian McCaffrey. I have at my second RB position, I have Mr. Ramondre Stevenson. Wide receiver, I have Cooper Kupp. Even though he did get injured, that's okay. It's life. You can't
Jalen Waddle.
You can't do anything about that. We also have Mr. He's getting upset over here. I'll tell y'all why though. We also have Mr. CeeDee Lamb. At tight end, I have Mark Andrews. At my flex position, I have Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown. In this league, this is a 1 QB league, everybody, and it's 1 QB. It's a PPR format, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and we have 9 starters. So it's a 9-starter, 1 QB, 1 QB format, and then it's a PPR. But then at kicker, I have Mr. Jake Moody. Really don't. I've only took him as a rookie because one of our counterparts, some of the guys, one of our special guests that everybody that y'all saw was Mr. Burn the Playbook. Yes. He's a diehard 49ers fan, so I knew he wanted his kicker. So what I ended up doing was just drafting his kicker in the actual rookie draft. Yeah, it might have been crazy, but if y'all could have seen his face by when he did that, I'm talking about priceless. And then this is one thing that I was thinking whenever he thought he was going to get his kicker. You big dummy. I had to play that Mr. Daggum George Stanford right there. You big dummy. You really thought you was about to get your kicker? Nah, dog. But then at my defense, I have the Carolina Panthers defense. And on my bench, he did say I do have Jonathan Taylor on my bench, but we already know what he's going through. He's trying to get paid. Hopefully they can end up working out something. It might end up being something like the Emmitt Smith deal where they ended up losing 3-4 games and then they finally paid him. So then with him sitting out, he's probably going to be in shape, which if you're thinking about out there, like I said before in all the other podcasts that we've been doing, if you have the funds to be able to go get JT and just keep him on your bench, go ahead and do it, man.
Stash him.
Just stash him. Stash him and then forget about it. If he comes back this year, that is awesome. That means he can be your one key piece that could take you to that championship. And even if he doesn't play this year, you still got him at least for another 2 or 3 years that you can even pay him. And is based off your position where you're going to end up being at. If you're stashing JT, most likely your team is a contender. So with your team being a contender, you already know he's not going to be well known and that you need to have him in your lineup. But then I also have who else do I have? Key players. I have Kendre Miller. I drafted him in our rookie draft because I do not think that Alvin Kamara is going to be there for another couple years, and I'm actually really high on Kendre Miller. Not this year, but I see him similar to how all rookies do. If you are a stud and then you have the potential to be the number one, we will see that by the end of the year. And that's going to be a true test with Kendre Miller. So if you do have rookies out there that you are stashing up on your dynasty rosters, make sure that you know and then analyze what they're doing. Like analyze their touches per game. See if it's starting to tick up. Also read about what the coaches are saying about the running backs. That will give you an actual eyesight of what you need to do with these players, or if they're actually going to be worth stashing for like the next couple years, or should you just trade them away just to get more draft picks after that, just to recoup from like what you lost. Then at my other positions, I drafted Jayden Reed from Michigan State. I am really high on Jayden Reed this year. He was and he still is probably one of my sleepers. I think he's going to do big numbers this year. If you do not have Jayden Reed on your team, I will try to get him. We do know that Jordan Love is finally the heir apparent to Mr. Aaron Rodgers. We also do not know who's going to end up being that number one out there for the Green Bay Packers. We know people think it's going to be Christian Watson, but with Jordan Love being a fresh start, who's he going to throw it to? People just
Romeo Doubs hurt his hamstring, so he didn't practice today.
So look at that. Mr. Hamstring has been getting people already. So I think Jayden Reed is probably going to get a tick up this year, and I think he's going to be that potential number one or number two target. But let's also not forget, since we're actually I do not have this person up on my team, but I'm still high on this player. It is Mr. Luke Musgrave. For the tight ends, if you're in a tight end premium league, this was the year to get your tight end for the future in this draft. So try to get him, but also on my lineup, I also have Mr. Jalen Waddle. This is the pick that he was a little upset about. So we had our draft like a couple weekends ago, and what ended up happening was the guy that traded me, Jalen Waddle, needed a running back. And like I said, like I always get running backs on my team and I just stash them just in case, because we know running backs actually matter in every league. But I ended up stashing Javonte Williams, but you also want to know your actual league mates as well. So that's one thing. Whenever you are playing fantasy, guys out there that are listening, please know your league mates. Even if you don't know your league mates that are not close niche with you and you're just playing with like some randoms, just get up in the DMs, just message them, just like get to know them. Because if you get to know them, you can end up making trade deals that other people didn't even see happening, because they might like a favorite team, they might like a certain player, and you might not be asking all these questions, but you can pick up on things. And when you're picking up on different things can end up happening. But also in my lineup, my other two rookies that I ended up drafting, who I'm really also high on these two as well. None of these are like right now players. These are all future players. It is Mr. Michael Mayer and then also Mr. Charlie Jones. If y'all don't know who Charlie Jones is, y'all are going to know by the end of this season. I will say that. Because if one of those three wide receivers end up getting hurt in Cincinnati, Mr. Charlie Jones is probably going to end up stepping in there as long as he is healthy. And he's going to end up putting a show on for y'all. And if he does not do that this year, then he's going to break out next year, because I do not think that the Cincinnati Bengals will be signing T. Higgins next year. And they also will be letting Tyler Boyd walk as well, too. So
Tyler's going for sure. I did saw today that the Bengals feel good about a contract between him and Joe Burrow being done before Sunday.
Okay.
So I think that his contract number is key for T. Higgins. I think Boyd's going no matter what, but his contract number is key for T. Higgins. If he goes above Justin Herbert, you're right. They probably won't be able to play both. Probably won't be able to play T. Higgins. So he's probably going. But if you take a team friendly deal, I think they can probably sign T. Higgins.
I don't think they're actually going to sign T. Higgins. I really think they're actually going to trade him away.
You still don't think
no,
that?
I really don't. I really think they're going to trade him away. Because, like, you got to realize, like, when I'm big on Charlie Jones, and then Andre.
Oh yeah, that guy.
From, like,
I don't know his name, but that guy.
I forgot the other guy's name.
Yeah,
Y'all help me out up in the chat.
Go
on, help me out up in there.
20 targets in 2 preseason games.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I'm like, whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we talked about him maybe
2 weeks ago,
2 episodes ago. Yeah, so 2 episodes ago. Yeah. So honestly, one thing before you go to the next slide about back to the Jalen Waddle.
Yeah.
So he's right. You're right. For all my listeners out there, he's correct. Know your other GM. Know what they like. So he traded. Christian had Javonte Williams, who was from North Carolina, right? Went to college in North Carolina. This other GM, is a North Carolina fan. However, Christian didn't even reach out to him. He reached out to Christian for Javonte Williams for Jalen Waddle. So all my listeners out there, please let me know if you think that is a fair trade. Now, I am not mad at Christian for taking the trade. He came to me. He came to him. Christian, yes, take that trade. I'm mad at the other GM for thinking that was a fair and smart trade. And if you don't know, a little bit of history, Christian loved Javonte Williams. Been on him for the past 2 years.
Yep.
So for Christian to trade him for Jalen Waddle, it had to be a come-up. So, and, we questioned the guy. He's telling us that, hey, he's with Sean Payton. He played the preseason game. Da-da-da. I think it was a good trade. Now, if he had said Jalen Waddle for Ramondre Stevenson, wouldn't hurt no fuss. So, yeah, for all my listeners out there, y'all let me know if y'all would have done that trade. Javonte Williams is currently right now, without seeing just saw level one preseason game, no season action for Jalen Waddle. Sorry, continue. Just had to get that out.
Hey man, get out what you got to get out, and then we also
so now he has a top 12 backup wide receiver that he can put to replace Cooper Kupp, so he's still good. I said, boy, I tell you this.
But just so the listeners are actually listening out there, I always had a plan of what I was going to end up doing. That's why I built my team a certain type of way. You always want to play checkers out. You always want to play chess out there, not checkers. Chess and not checkers.
There you go.
But the last person I had was Mr. Michael Mayer.
It is chess, not checkers.
Yeah, I got Mr. Michael Myers out there. I don't know that movie clip, so you're going to probably have to tell the audience.
Training Day. I'm going to need you to know that, Training Day.
Oh, I don't remember.
It's chess. It ain't checkers.
Oh, I don't remember that one, doing that Training Day. But I got Mr. Michael Myers, and I think he is going to be the heir apparent tight end from that Jalen Waddle space has actually been missing. But that is who I have for my first lineup. We're going to go to our next lineup, and we're going to discuss our mind process and like what we was thinking and what we was going through then. So Chris's next lineup, and it's the same type of format. It's 1 QB, 2 non-starters, but this league is actually different. It's actually a tight end premium league, so it's a PPR tight end premium league. And I'll let him take it over from here to give a reason why he built his team like this.
So yes, I again got the number 1 overall pick. I think this one also has a loser's bracket. Right?
No, this one actually was last place. Remember, the new GM actually traded you.
Oh, it's right. It was last place. Right. I traded for Bijan. So I had the 3rd overall pick, and he had the 1st, and I traded him Michael Pittman plus my 3rd to move up to 1. So that's how I got Bijan Robinson. Obviously, I drafted Kenneth Walker last year. I'm gonna run real quick over my team. I have Jared Goff, Kenny 3 Sticks, Bijan, Stephon Diggs, Dalton Schultz, Jamar Chase, who I just traded for, Younghoe Koo, Dallas defense, Daniel Jones, Breece Hall, Jalen Warren, Scott Moore, Deontay Johnson, Van Jefferson, Josh Palmer, Cooper Kupp, John Mechie, Romeo Doubs, Michael Mayer, and then I have the New York Jets defense. But as far as my starters, obviously I've drafted Kenneth Walker, Bijan, Diggs, Schultz, and I traded for Jamar Chase. Who did I trade for? What did I trade for Jamar Chase?
I think you gave Jordan Addison to somebody else.
I had Devonta Smith and Jordan Addison. One of the GMs in the league, he wanted to get off of Jamar Chase. I said, hey, that's my guy. He's a top 5, top 3 wide receiver. I think he could possibly be the offensive player of the year this year. I'm hoping, fingers crossed. I'm glad I did that because Cooper Kupp is hurt. So I'm definitely glad I did that. So yeah, I drafted Bijan with the 101, traded for Ja'Marr Chase, and then in my auction I had how did I get Brees Hall?
You traded for him.
Oh yeah,
You traded for him at the very beginning. That's how you got 1.01. Remember?
So that was included in that trade, right? So I traded Michael Pittman plus 103 for Brees Hall. That's what it was, and he gave me 101. So that's how I got Brees Hall. Then I just paid for Jaylen Warren, Deontay Johnson, Van Jefferson. He was hella cheap. That was really I didn't have too much money on hand, like $65 million. I knew I needed the Jared Goff. I think Jared Goff will still have he can have him a top 10 this year. So my philosophy, I'll go into everybody. I think Christian already knows. My philosophy is so there's 7 skill positions, right? And there's 4 major positions: quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end. My thought process is to try to get a top 10 player in each of those 4 main positions starting, and you should be a playoff team, right? So me getting Bijan, boom, top 10. Stephon Diggs, boom, top 10. I had Cooper Kupp, he would have been top 10, all right, if he's healthy. And then I got Ja'Marr Chase. So I already have 4. Now I just need some boom players for maybe a Brees Hall, maybe Kenneth Walker to have some boom weeks to put me even further higher than just the playoffs. So that's how I build my team. That's my main. So I get as many top 10 players in each of those main 7 starters positions. I have Dalton Schultz. It is a tight end premium league. I did all I could to try to get off of him. I just hope he eats up some targets from what's his name? Who's the quarterback in Houston? Who's the rookie quarterback? CJ Stroud. So yeah, so as you see, I have a blank for Cooper Kupp. I don't know who to start. All right. I am thinking between Scott Moore, Deontay Johnson, or Van Jefferson.
Yeah, guys, help him out. Help him out. Leave a comment out there. Like, help him out. Like, who he should start. I got an idea of who he should put in there, but I don't know if he's going to do it. But I'm not going to.
Is it one of those 3 people I said?
No, it's not. So
what?
So, like I said, I would let him decide.
I know who you're thinking.
But I would put him in there, and that's what
I know who you're thinking.
But just for people to actually realize, with him making that trade with Ja'Marr Chase, it's just like what we talked about before about knowing your actual league mates. The GM that he ended up trading him to is an SEC fan, and then the 2 players that he sent off were actually they played up in the SEC. So that's another thing right there, knowing your teams. And yes, we know that Ja'Marr Chase is from the SEC, but the guy that had and that's a big fan of the SEC, he realized that, one, he was not going to win this year, wasn't even going to come close. So the first thing he did was build for the future and get off a good asset. So that's one thing that we want to help y'all with, that is actually understanding your actual league mates, but then also going deep into the analysis and understanding when to get off players, when to actually keep them on your rosters, and also sell high on the players.
He needed wide receiver depth. That's one thing he didn't have. So that's why I traded him 2 wide receivers for that one. He needed that. And he only had neither one of them starting. He traded them off his team. I don't know what we're doing.
So in the next lineup, this is my last lineup. We just recently had this draft. This is a 10. This is the 10-team league. This is also a super flex. This is also a super flex. I tried to get my co-host up in this league also as well, just so we can try to get it to 12. But he's not a big fan of sleeper league. So also another thing down there in the comments, tell me what we got to do to get this guy up in a super flex league. Leave it down there up in the comments. Let us know what we got to do just to get the co-host into a sleeper league. Like just let us know. Like, what do we got to do? Also, while you are out there, please don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the podcast. Give us a 5-star ratings, because what we're doing right now is we're loving the game of fantasy football, but we also love football, but we also want to entertain you, and let us know, like, in other ways that we can actually get better. Like, we also want to be interactive with our community and everything. But let's get back into the lineups. So At my starting QB in this Superflex, it is Superflex, like I said before. I think it is just based off simple math, real quick. That is start 10, one QB, two running backs, two wide receivers, a tight end, two flex positions, which is a wide receiver, running back, or tight end. It is not a tight end premium league. And then also we have the Superflex position, where if you do not know what a Superflex is, that means that you can put in a quarterback at that last flex position.
Starting two quarterbacks.
So it's a 2 quarterback starting league if you want to, unless you got a power running back or something like that that's going to get you quarterback number.
A wide receiver. Right.
So in my starting lineup, I have Mr. Justin Fields. This is a dynasty league as well, so I decided to take him because I'm thinking about the future. I think Justin Fields is actually going to do numbers this year, and he is still young. He just recently got Mr. DJ Moore, and I think DJ Moore is going to turn it up for him, with also the other key pieces too as well on his team. But I have at running back, I have Austin Eckler. I know he's getting old, and I know I have a plan for him. Everybody, I think I might end up trading him before the season starts, just to get somebody else. I drafted him for a reason, because for one, I really don't need him, but there's another guy out there that I want.
Do you not? Your running backs?
Oh no, my running backs are pretty good though. So then after that, at my second RB position, I have Mr. Najee Harris. I'm high on Najee this year. I'm a big Najee fan.
You sure?
Oh yeah, I didn't want to trade him away up in the other league.
Even with, I'm just saying, even with the talk, I'm just saying differently. Even with the talk of Jalen.
Oh yeah, because there was always never going to be a Najee running the full backfield like Le'Veon Bell did. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be a 1-2 punch, of which it should be, because actually after the role that he has done in Pittsburgh and what he did at Alabama, he should take a step back, and that is so he can stay fresh and so he can get paid, unlike all these other running backs. At my wide receiver position, I have Mr. Amon-Ra St. Brown. As y'all can see, I have certain key players on every team, and there's the reason why, because I'm actually high on all these players, and when other people zig, I zag. Then I have Mr. DeAndre Hopkins. I understand everybody, he is old and everything, but the value that I got him at, I could not let it pass. I think I got him close to the 13th, 14th round in this dynasty draft.
Wow.
So
he fell that far.
Yeah, he fell that far, dog. So I was like, well, if you're going to give me a number one, possibly a 1A, 1B up in Tennessee, I'll take him. I'm kind of hurting a little bit at tight end, but I personally don't think that I'm hurting, because I'm really high on Mr. Dalton Kincaid this year. If y'all don't understand about what I've been preaching and what I've been talking about, I'm high on all these rookie tight ends. Tight ends, because I know their potential and I know what they're going to end up being. I know what they're going to do this year. And that's why if y'all ever thought about doing a tight end premium league, this was the year to do it. Because there's nobody can say anything about, no, I don't know which tight end is going to be good. You already know Kelsey's getting old. All the top guys are getting old. But then these rookies coming in are actually going to be really good. They might end up supplanting the top tier guys, but we'll see what's going to be happening this year. At my flex position, I also have Mr. J.K. Dobbins, who another person who I'm high on this year as well, because a lot of
contract year.
Yep. Let's say that again. Contract year. A lot of people don't realize with it's like one person in my league, he was talking about in this league that I'm talking about, he was like, yeah, I really don't want J.K. Dobbins because he had the ACL injury last year. I was like, dog, he just came off the ACL injury last year, and this is year 2, and we all know what happens to running backs in year 2. Hopefully, knock on wood. I just knocked on wood, just so you know. Hopefully nothing does happen to me. Not to me, but to
JK.
But nothing happens to JK, because we do not want to see anything happen to him whatsoever. That's the one thing in fantasy, in football, we don't want anybody to get hurt. At my flex position, I also have Mr. Brandon Ayuk. I'm also high again on Mr. Brandon Ayuk this year, because I do not think Debo is going to do what everybody thinks he's going to do. And I think Brandon Ayuk is actually going to explode this year. At my super flex position, I have Mr. Aaron Rodgers. Mr. Discount double check. Reason why I have him there is because of what I think he's going to do. This is actually the first year that Aaron Rodgers has been traded in his career, and he has been doing things that he has never done in Green Bay, which means he's actually out there playing like a young kid again. He has a nice target, a nice young stud out there in Mr. Garrett Wilson. No homo, y'all. Just gonna hit that pause. No. Then at my bench position, I have Mr. Jared Goff, who, as y'all see again, another thing that I have been preaching. So if y'all have not listened back up in the podcast, I will drop some of the podcasts that I've been mentioning these players, just so you can go back and listen, just so you know for a fact that I am not lying when I'm saying I'm drafting and using the philosophy that I love and that I adore. At this next person, hear me out. I don't like this player at all whatsoever. My co-host does, but I will let y'all know I did draft Desmond Ridder. Do not like him whatsoever, but I drafted him for a reason because, like I said, this is a super flex, and people are going to need a third QB. And there's other people out there that do not have a third QB; they only have two. And if one of them,
gonna knock on this door.
Somebody's going to be, like he said, knocking on the door. Hey, I got this QB. And with me saying that doesn't even mean that I need to keep. I can keep Desmond Ridder as my third QB. Will that be good? Not really, but
probably not. Probably not. Not over Jared Goff.
But who knows? Like, yeah, not really. But it's just a thrower in there. Like, he's not like he's going to start every week. His only thing he's going to start is he's only going to start up on bye weeks.
Yeah, you don't have anybody with the same bye
Nope,
week.
but I do know that
Rodgers and
if y'all are looking at this team, your boy's going to be hurt in week 13. I'm going to be hurt in week 13. But it don't make a difference if I'm going to be hurting. Pause. My team's still going to be good, I think, personally. But then also I have on my bench, I have Mr. Kenny McIntosh. I have Mr. Chris Rodriguez. If y'all know who Chris Rodriguez is, y'all will know by the end of this year.
I don't.
He went to the Washington Commanders. So be on the lookout. Mr. Eric Bieniemy has been talking him up throughout camp and throughout everything, doing training camp and OTAs on how he plans on using him. Then on my other bench position, I have Mr. Roschon Johnson. Then I have Damon Harris, Zach Charbonnet, Jaden Reed again, Brandon Cooks, and Jalen Hyatt. And at my last bench position, I have Mr. Cole Kmet. And then on my taxi squad, I have Mr. Aiden O'Connell. And I have Charlie Jones again. And then I have A.T. Perry. Those are some of the guys that I'm high at. So for my lineup, let me know, guys, how y'all think I'm going to end up doing. I think I should be a playoff team. This is a 10-teamer.
I think so.
So we'll see what ends up happening. I do plan on, just so y'all know, I do plan on trying to make a trade to get off J.K. Dobbins. But we'll see what's going to end up happening. Not because I want to.
Before the season starts?
I'm going to try to do it before the season starts because I told the GM that I'm trying to trade with, hey, just so you know, certain players cost a certain price right now. But if you want them during the season, things are going to go up. So I'm trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. Hey, this is what's going to end up happening. So just so you know, so you're not blindsided.
And I see what you're talking about that week 13. You're going to figure out that week 13 for his tight end because both of them on the same week.
No, I'm not. I'm just going to take a L, dog.
Just going to leave it blank.
Yeah, I'm going to take a L. But that is the lineup. In this last segment, this is what we was talking about at the very beginning. Before we get out of here, we want to know what is the most craziest last place punishments that y'all have either heard of or seen on Twitter or X, what they call it now, or on Instagram. Just one of the craziest last place punishments. I'll start off first. I was thinking about joining a league a couple years ago. My co-host right now is shaking his head dramatically hard. If y'all can see this.
Hell no.
So I was thinking about joining this league. It was called the Tattoo League. Some of y'all might have heard about it. I think it was one on like ESPN or something like that. This was before they got on ESPN. And what this was is that what it says, a tattoo league. Last place had to get a tattoo of the first place choosing. So, for example, one year, the year that I think somebody had like 3 of the top 10 finishers in fantasy the previous year all got hurt that year. So what the guy ended up making him get a tattoo of is the daggone Care Bears with them in jerseys and then them holding like crutches and things like that and like walking boots. So that's one thing that that person had to get on his body.
Ain't no
Me
way.
personally, I
Ain't no
wouldn't have
way.
worried about that because I knew for a fact I wasn't gonna never finish in last. I have never finished in last in fantasy.
Oh,
But
damn.
what are some other punishments that you're thinking about, Chris, that you think that are crazy?
Yeah, that is definitely crazy. That is as a 9, as a 10, as a 11. No, going out for the join the league, I'm gonna have to get a tattoo. Permanent. That's permanent. Nah. I can't think of a crazy one, but I do know one off the top of my head that's funny, and that's the one I've seen. I guess it's probably common now though. The where you take a dog out to dinner, you have to take a picture of you eating dinner with this blow up dog. I think that's cool. Like that's something that I would do. I would join a league like that for his last base. I think that's funny, and I think that's not permanent and crazy like a tattoo. So like I'm all about playing the game, but hey, y'all tripping now. Ain't no permanent. I don't have any tattoos now. You're gonna get one because you decide. Hell no.
Yeah, so one of the other ones that I thought you was going to talk about and mention was the actual. So there is a crazy one out there. Was like a shock collar for a dog. So the last place person had to wear a shock collar, and that's one of the ones that are crazy out there. I also have seen some funny ones where the guy's actually either wearing a t-shirt or he's wearing. You know how y'all see the guys up on the side of the street, up in the mascots and things like that, like flipping the actual arrows and things like that. This is something similar to that, but a guy had to say he had a big sign on him. He was a mascot and he was flipping the arrow one way, but then up on the back and then like on the front, it said honk because I finished last place in my
that's funny.
up in my
I would do that.
fantasy football league. But in the comments, everybody, leave us some type of comment about what y'all heard or what y'all have seen in the last place finishes. And always remember, do not forget to like, comment, subscribe to the channel. And any last words that you want to say, Chris?
5 stars. My sign off is as always, spread love, not hate. Spread love, not hate.
And we thank everybody for tuning in.
And I'm sorry. In the words of Jay-Z, it's only entertainment.
It's only entertainment, everybody. It's only entertainment. And we thank everybody for listening to this episode 13 podcast. We'll see y'all up on another one. And just so you know, the podcast will be changing up this season because we know football season is coming out. We know everybody has been seeing the audio version come out on Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we will be changing it up where the audio version now will be coming out on Wednesday. And then the YouTube version will be coming out on Fridays now. So since football season is kicking off, we're actually going to do y'all a favor. We're going to give y'all another insight into the minds of us. And then we're going to actually extend it out to Wednesday and change it to Wednesday and Friday. But also, we thank everybody once again, and we'll see you up on another one. Y'all. Thank y'all. Peace.
Thanks for checking out another episode of Cerberus Gridiron Podcast, powered by Cerberus Fantasy Sports. Make sure you stay tuned for the next episode.